everybody. Welcome to Guitar Monks. I'm Matthew Dixon, and today I want to talk about learning the notes on the fifth and sixth strings. Now, if you already have an idea of how the musical alphabet works and you already kind of know the notes, you just need to work on the memorization of where the notes are, I would go ahead and just skip this and move on to number two, where we work on where the notes are and practicing that. But for the rest of you, let's start to talk about the musical alphabet. Some of you might already know the musical alphabet is based on the first 7 letters of the alphabet. So we're going A through G. Once we get to G, we just go back again. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, over and over and over again. Sounds simple enough, but it takes a little bit of work. Now, on the fretboard, we have 2 types of movement. We have what's called a whole step, which is if I played a note anywhere and I skipped one whole entire fret. For instance, there I'm going from the 3rd fret up to the 5th fret. That is a whole step, and that works anywhere on the fretboard, moving up in whole steps. If I start with an open note and I go up a whole step, I'm going to skip the 1st fret and go right to the 2nd fret. Now the second movement we have is called a half step. The half step is just the very next fret, moving up in half steps. So again, if I start with an open note and I move up a half step, I go right to the 1st fret. Now the musical alphabet is spaced out. All of the notes are spaced out in whole steps, with 2 exceptions. Between B and C, there is a half step, and between E and F, there is a half step. Now, if you don't know where that is on the fretboard right now, don't worry about it. We'll get to that. You just want to memorize in your mind, B to C is a half step, and E to F is a half step. Everything else is going to be a whole step apart. And that includes when we get from G going back around to A, that is a whole step. And then A to B would be a whole step, so on and so forth. Now that being said, the notes actually go up the neck, and I say up the neck going this way because we are talking about pitch. We want to hear it going higher. They go up the neck in alphabetical order. So depending on what the note is tuned to in the open tuning determines on what note is going to be on what fret. Now, in standard tuning, we tune our 6th string to an E. So if this is E, that means that if I follow that musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F has to be the next natural note. And remember, B and C, E and F, that's one of our half steps. So that puts F right on the 1st fret. Now, after F would come G, and remember, everything else besides B and C and E and F are whole steps, so I move up a whole step to G. And then the musical alphabet is only 7 letters, so again we're going back around to A. G to A is a whole step, now on the 5th fret. And now from here, A to B, whole step. Here I am, B to C. Remember B to C being one of our half steps, so I move a half step. And now from C to D, a whole step. And D moves up to E, a whole step. I'm going to stop here. I'm at the 12th fret. The 12th fret is considered the octave on the fretboard, and that's because I started with E, I ended with E. So that kind of explains how they go up. I would recommend sitting, if you're just starting out, learning the 6th string, and just doing that a few times and looking at it. One of the nice things I always like is, depending on your guitar, I don't have a 1st fret marker, some of you might on your guitar, but other than getting that 1st fret down, it's nice to know that G, A, and B just follow the first 3 dots of your fret markers. And then after that point, you can start to memorize, okay, now I'm off, half step gives me my C, whole step to my D, and double dots at the 12th fret. At the 12th fret, everything just repeats because we're just starting over again. So if the 12th fret, if you think of it like the open, we're going to go a half step up, and that's going to give us our F, a whole step to G, a whole step to A, a whole step to B, a half step to C, just like we did up here. So that is the dividing mark of the neck, so where everything just starts over. So if you can learn it here, you're going to know it here. Now, all that same principle applies on the 5th string. On the 5th string, though, in standard tuning, we have open A. So if I have open A, I'm going to go up a whole step. That gives me my B. Remember, B to C, E, and F are half steps. So B to C, I go a half step to C, a whole step to D. I'm going in alphabetical order. After D would come E, up a whole step. That's one of our half steps. So I'm going to go a half step to F, up a whole step to G, and then I'm going to end at the 12th fret again at the octave, up one whole step, back up to A. And there it is. Practice that a little bit. When you start to feel comfortable with it, go on to lesson number 2, and we'll start drilling and trying to memorize the 6th string.